What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me, and I am really excited to be here with you all once again to be making a new video. And this video is going to be a review of season 3 of Cobra Kai. Yes, Cobra Kai, which was recently bought by Netflix. The first 2 seasons that I watched that were streaming on YouTube Premium, but now I'm really glad that it's on Netflix now. It's going to be open to a lot more eyes, and I already saw that on of course of Netflix's ranking that Cobra Kai right now is like number 1 as far as like the all the shows and whatnot streaming on there. So that's really cool. I just want to first start off by saying that I have been a huge fan of the first 2 seasons of this show. It's definitely been one of my favorite shows to watch. I just think it's so just well done. It's so funny. It's so 80s. I love how it's of course it's modern, but it still has that 80s flavor. And just the characters, and we see how Johnny and Kreese and Daniel and how they're all older. I just really love what they're doing and how they're dealing with their kids, and how the whole karate is still playing a part in everybody's lives and whatnot. But it's just been a really fantastic show, and the biggest reason for that is because the creative people behind the show, the two guys who made the show, I can't remember their names, but they're huge fans of this show. To them, it's like Karate Kid to these guys is like Star Wars is to like a lot of like a freaking huge Star Wars fanatic. That's how important it is to these guys. So when you have that, you're gonna get most likely gonna get a great show, and that's the case here. So now that we have season 3, it dropped on New Year's, and I finally have found the time and I've binge watched it all. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. So I want to first start off by saying right off the bat that I absolutely freaking love this season. Season 3, I think it's just gotten even better and better. It's definitely been my favorite season up to this point. The show just keeps getting better, taking it to new places. And the number one thing that I noticed, the biggest step that I think that this season took, was a lot of backstory, a lot of origins, and a lot of things that we didn't know previously from some of the main characters that were never explained in any of the movies. First off, when you talk about let's talk about Daniel a little bit, and how he takes his little trip to Japan, and he's trying to find some meaning. He's trying to deal with his business. His car dealership is kind of going down the drain a little bit, so he tries to go there, make a move, but he makes some of those familiar faces that we saw in Karate Kid Part 2. And also we learn a lot about Mr. Miyagi, and a lot about his his history and things that he was doing even before he met Daniel. And you just learn about a lot of his backstory, and his teachings, and the history of what goes on there, and with the karate and everything going on over there in Japan, and how he kind of used that to teach Daniel, and some of the things that he taught him, or some of the new things that Daniel learns in that journey. I just think that's really cool. I really love how this show just really embraces Mr. Miyagi, and it does it to the fullest extent. It's not just little mentions here and there. I mean, Miyagi is like freaking Yoda of this show to Danielson, and it's just so cool to see. And every time I love how they show so many of the flashbacks to Mr. Miyagi, and you see there's a lot of cool scenes where Daniel gets really emotional talking about Mr. Miyagi, and it's just so well done. It's just so beautiful, and it's just really cool. It really makes you realize exactly, when you think about the original movies, exactly how important Mr. Miyagi was, and how much of a badass and just wonderful, kind person he was. And I just really love seeing that here. And also, more speaking on, like I said, with new things being developed here as far as backstory. This whole season, throughout the entire season, it's like a slow build, a little minor storyline going on of Kreese's little origin story. We see him, and his relationship with his girlfriend, and how he goes to Vietnam, and now basically that whole story line of him in war is to explain like the origin of Cobra Kai, and how he took the things that he learned at war, the hardships, everything involved there at war. How, of course, obviously I wouldn't know, but anybody who's been to war tells you it changes you, and you'll never come back the same. And that's the case with Kreese here that we saw. And we see a lot of the things, he was like held captive, him and his little crew like got captured. And I like that last moment in the last episode, where you see him fighting his lieutenant, and he's like telling him, like, he's kind of learned the hard way. He's like, man, you can't really trust anybody, life's rough, this and that. And you see how he's fighting there to the death, and you see on the bottom, the pit of death is it's freaking cobras, and it's just so badass. I just love that. This is what I'm saying, this show is able to take things that we already know, further that into the now, but it also brings us things that we never had before. We got a Kreese origin story. We got so much here that we never knew before. That's the way that the show balances all that, and it never loses focus. It never feels like it's too much, or just it's there for the sake of being there, or it's like just there to just for flashy reasons. It's all done so well, and it just makes it so enjoyable. And moving along here, I want to just also touch on absolutely my favorite character in the series is definitely Johnny Lawrence. I really love what this show does with Johnny Lawrence. I feel like he just has so much to deal with in this show. I mean, we come into this season how he starts Cobra Kai, and he has this kid Miguel, who's like his neighbor, and he takes him on his own. He's a sensei, and how he has to deal with the repercussions of being the karate, that the drama and the pain and suffering that karate has brought to everybody involved in the show, but especially to Johnny Lawrence and the people who he's closest to. I mean, he has to deal with his old sensei coming in and trying to take over Cobra Kai. Like I said, his sensei, his freaking protege, freaking almost being paralyzed. And then the relationship with his son is also really fascinating too. And it's like, his son is a bit of a reject, and it's almost like Johnny Lawrence sees a lot of himself in his son. And you can tell that he really doesn't want him to go down the same path that Johnny did and end up like he ended up being as he grew up and as he moved on in his life. He sees that his son going down that path, but he wasn't really involved in his son's life, as we know, and that whole relationship is kind of really just difficult. And then you have how Daniel was training him with his Miyagi-Do karate. He's training Johnny Lawrence's son. So Johnny Lawrence really has to deal with a lot. And of course, with this season, dealing with the return of Ali, and how I really love that episode with Ali. I think it was the second to the last episode. It was just really cool to see. And another thing, like I said, a lot of familiar faces were brought back from the previous movies, and it's just so cool to see. I like how when each of the old characters introduced brought back, it's just like they say to each other like, "Dang, you look good," and it's true. Everybody freaking looks good. Like, look at Kreese, he still looks good. Ali looks amazing. Freaking everybody just looks like $1,000,000. Like, nobody really aged. Like, they got older, but they just didn't age. So that's really cool to see. But I really liked how this season really took the karate fighting to like a new level. So it seemed like every episode there was like a big karate battle, and the style, the way it is like choreographed, and the way it's shot and everything. Like, especially in the last episode when they're fighting in Daniel's house, all the kids and all the freaking karate dojos are like colliding. It's like a freaking Royal Rumble in there. I like how there's one long minute shot of them, the camera just spanning back and forth and going throughout the house, seeing all the kids fight, and it's just so well done. It's absolutely cool to see. You can definitely tell that the actors in this show really train very, very hard to make this seem as real as possible, and everybody does a great job. I mean, it looks freaking badass as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I mean, I cannot say enough about this show. It's just so good. I swear to you, I kid you not, like, in every episode, there was a moment, or multiple moments, where I literally said out loud, I was just like, this show is so fucking good. Like, I said that so many times watching it. I just couldn't believe it. And now that this show is on Netflix, I think I can definitely say that I think that Stranger Things has definitely been my favorite so far. My top two shows on Netflix have been, Stranger Things and Narcos. Love them. Stranger Things probably being number one. And now that Cobra Kai is on Netflix, I think after this third season, I feel very comfortable saying that it is, in my opinion, the best show on Netflix. I just think it is just so badass, so funny, and just so heartwarming, and just so, it's just so many emotions. It's just badass. It's just so crazy. Like, each of the main characters has their own thing going on. Everyone's totally different from each other, but somehow it all meshes really well, and it makes for great drama, great entertainment, laughs, cries, all of that. So yeah, and I really love how this season ended up. I would assume that the next season is going to be the last, because it's set up as like the ultimatum of, Kreese said, like, okay, if the tournament is going to be, the infamous tournament is going to be happening again, and, Kreese said, okay, if I win, like, if I don't win, you guys, I mean, Cobra Kai's done, and I like how, I kind of had a feeling throughout the season, I'm like, I feel like Daniel and Johnny Lawrence are gonna they're gonna be forced to work together. You know, they're gonna have to put their differences aside because the real threat is Cobra Kai. It always has been Cobra Kai until to this day. I mean, it's just really badass how now they're gonna team up and they're just gonna try to put an end to Cobra Kai once and for all. So I cannot wait for season 4, which probably be the last season, maybe not, we'll see. But just can't wait for it. And this season was absolutely fantastic, and like I said, such a kick-ass, badass show. I mean, if you're watching this, you obviously have watched it. I was gonna say, if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. But yeah, I mean, just boom, 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, just 2 thumbs up. I mean, all the praises. It's just, this show is pretty much damn near perfect. There's never a dull moment with this show. I just go on and on. But anyways, that's going to be my review for season 3 of Cobra Kai. What did you guys think about it? Leave your comments. You know, how do you feel about this season? And are you excited for season 4 going forward and whatnot? So, and sure, let me know. I would also like to know, you know, where would you rank Cobra Kai? How does it rank on all the millions of shows that are streamed on Netflix? Where does Cobra Kai rank? So yeah, thank you so much for watching this review. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get to some of these movies as, you know, they start being released on these streaming services. Gonna try to get back to doing movie reviews, but like I said, any other shows that I watch, I'll definitely be filming a review for that. So once again, thank you so much for watching.